My name is Stefan Klauser. I'm one of the co-founders and CEO of aisot Technologies. Usually, I wouldn't speak really about myself and in these kind of presentations, but today it feels a bit more like a community gathering. And so I would say a few words. How did I really come to where I am today? So it started for me quite early, around 2014. I had my first contacts with the blockchain topic. I was then at DevCon 1, the first Ethereum Developers Conference in London back in 2015. And I think that's where I really got hooked for the topic. I mean, I saw that potential that is in this space, and it kind of didn't let me go anymore. I then went to ETH and I was leading a blockchain project. It was around distributed incentivization mechanisms for sustainability. It's a bit like a counter idea to Chinese citizen score, which is kind of more based on central surveillance and kind of telling people what they can do and what not. And this is kind of completely voluntary and distributed approach. We kind of issued an ebook around this. It's publicly available on the internet. You can ask me where to find. It's ebook.fin4.ch as far as I remember. And then we even had some people visiting us at ETH. Who knows who these two gentlemen in the middle are there? Sorry, I didn't. Exactly. So one is Joel Mezo, he's the president of ETH, and the other guy is Gary Gensler. Back then he was still at MIT, and he was actually quite stoked about our blockchain project, and he was kind of telling us how amazing it is that these things like cryptocurrencies exist. We even showed him a bit the research that we did back then, and he said MIT can still learn a lot from ETH. I think today he plays a bit more biggest role in the space, to say it diplomatically. So we also founded the blockchain and IoT summer school at ETH in that period, and that was quite an interesting endeavor as well. And then I met my future co-founders. They were kind of experimenting with new models, how to better predict Bitcoin volatility based on buy and sell orders. So that's Tian Guo and Nino Antulov-Antulin, who founded aisot with me afterwards. And there was, in 2019, there was so much interest from the community about, hey, can you show us how this is done? It was a bit the time of arbitrage trading in Bitcoin, so that was quite fascinating for many people. We realized in the end it's a bigger need in the industry, and even beyond crypto. And we said, okay, what we want to do is we want to have a platform where people can come and get access to the newest data, the newest AI models, etc., so that they can make sure that their portfolios and their strategies are kind of systematic enough. This is what we did. And in short, this is how it looks, more or less, what we implemented. So we will have the customer input layer where they say, okay, these are the titles, the risks, the cryptos that I want to have in my portfolio. Then we have the data layer with market data, alternative data sources, and macroeconomic data. We do the full feature processing. We apply the models, and then we can derive different forms of insights from that. We work with different data sources now. For example, for the cryptocurrency engine that I'll show you afterwards, we use around 1,000 different features, also cross-market, some of them from the equity markets, etc. We develop new AI models ourselves, but we also use kind of more standard approaches. To show also that we can have a good live performance, we're actually going to launch an crypto AMC that is based on our engine very soon. It should come out in the next few weeks. And we could show in back testing that with such an approach we could clearly outperform the benchmarks, which are Bitcoin, but also other benchmarks like market cap weighted indexes. Okay, let's maybe do a test of that in live. So we're going to create a portfolio together now, and you can tell me what you want to have in there and what not, and we kind of create our own strategy. So what we have at the beginning is the time frame. So we can select the dates, then the optimization parameters. Here, for example, we have the chance to include a risk-free asset, which is cash in that sense. You can tell me, would you want to allow cash in the portfolio and how much? Maximum 50%. I guess we don't want to have a minimum, so we put it from 0 to 50. That's the fee that we can assume for the rebalancing, and then we can say we want to have a target risk volatility that's just usually trying to minimize the downside volatility, so the resulting volatility is around 2 times or a bit more than 2 times the amount that we enter here. Who is for less volatility and who is for more more profits? More volatility, more volatility. Okay, we then put it a bit higher even. Let's put 60 or so. Okay. Then let's put together some coins for a portfolio. Just let me know, which ones would you like? We have around 50 in there that we can choose from. Bitcoin, Ether, Matic, ADA, I heard, Cos. Sorry? Ah, yeah, Atom, right. Doge. Uni. Okay, so one more maybe?
AUDT.
Sorry? With FTT. We don't have that in.
AUDT. See if AUDT pops up. AUDT.
AUDT. No. One more maybe?
RPL.
Sorry?
RPL.
Ripple. Okay, good. Then what we can do for each one of them is we can set minimum and maximum boundaries. So some people say I want to have a minimum of 10% in Bitcoin or 10 in Ether, maximum this and that. We can do that, but we can also make it a bit easier and let the machine decide a bit more, and we just put everything from 0 to 40. So Uni, even Doge, we let up to 40 if it wants so. Good. Then what we have as a possibility here for professional customers, especially institutional ones, they usually have their own quant teams or their research teams. They can just upload their own return views to the optimization. You have to imagine what we do here is the AI, or let's say machine learning, kind of creates the views with respect to the cryptocurrencies, and this is taken in together with a lot of other views in a so-called Black Litterman optimization, right? And there we can also feed in the customer views. What we then do is just run this. As we have the models pre-trained here, it's a very quick process. What it does is kind of to set the portfolios for the whole rebalancing period. Usually this is kind of a monthly rebalanced portfolio here, so it's not super active, but just active enough to create good results. And it does forecast the risk, and then we get the outcome. So The green lines are two variants of the aisot portfolio. The brighter green one is the volatility strategy. It's trying to kind of limit volatility a bit more, and the dark green line is taking in the AI views a bit more. You see, we would have had a quite unbelievable performance in this portfolio of plus 2,723% for the full back testing period, with the blended portfolio, and still plus 1,800 with the volatility strategy. If you compare this, Ether is at plus 127%, and some of the market cap weighted indexes are clearly in the negatives. What you can also then get is the statistics. So we would have had here with the blended strategy a Sharpe ratio of 2.38, Sortino 5.37, and volatility, which is quite high, right? It's 150%. If you compare that to Ether or Bitcoin, that's clearly higher. But the drawdown, the max drawdown, is actually anyway lower than with the pure Bitcoin or Ether tracker. This is because of the cash component, where we use the forecasted risk for the next period to set the cash amount. Then what you also get is the current composition of the portfolio. And this is not investment advice, right? You all know that. It's Matic, and then Bitcoin, Ether, Uni, ADA, Atom, Ripple, and Doge a bit less. We also always plot the correlation between all the different coins and tokens in the system. And what you clearly see here is that Doge is by far the least correlated with all the other assets that we have. And then also Mana is not very highly correlated, but then you have clearly very high correlations between, for example, Bitcoin Cash and EOS, which is almost at 80%. All this information is taken in the optimization, and then we plot the composition of the portfolio over time, where you would see the cash component is the violet one on top, and then you have all the different coins that are plotted here. Yeah.
Stop. Microphone, please.
We also had Matic in the portfolio, and it wasn't picked. Is that so? This means that there was zero, or is it part of it?
It
is part of it.
It's here,
but it's very small.
No, it's the biggest part actually.
Sorry. Okay.
It's
I
at
thought it was
18.4%.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, so much about this, right? And now what, in principle, I would like you to have some time for more questions. You can, if you want to learn more, just scan this QR code and write to me. I have to run before the end of the day. But you can always reach out to me. We're an official spin-off from ETH Zurich and linked to the ETH AI Center, and be happy to discuss with you about possibilities.
Stefan, thank you for joining us. Thank you for the great presentation. I believe Seba will be interested also to follow up, I hope. What do you think?
Can I ask a quick question?
You already had the discussion, I guess. Huh?
Yes, we talked about it yesterday. He was already so in touch with Seba. We have some homework to do until we are ready to serve them, but yeah, for sure, interesting.
Yeah, I think it's a great feature because it also uses the language of the traditional investor, so you cannot create a completely new view. It should somehow, I mean, you still have shares and etc. I think that's one of the features, I guess.
Exactly. Yeah, we also do that for equity markets. Yes.
Right. Okay.
How does your model adjust when it gets crowded?
When it gets crowded, can you explain?
So when the trade gets crowded, your model's going to get affected. Your performance is going to get affected. How is there a response?
Okay. So you mean once we get too many people that follow this advice? Okay, currently, this is currently only available for institutional and professional customers, not for retail customers. mostly due to regulatory hurdles on that side. But we usually do dedicated portfolios for customers. That means usually almost never two customers have exactly the same portfolio. And like this, we adjust it, and also the rebalancing dates are not always the same, right?
I think it's an industry problem in general.
When a trade gets too crowded, it affects.
Right,
You know,
it's an
and I'm a new guy coming in. I'm not going to get the same results as the first guy that ran the model.
But no matter what the underlying is, it's always the same problem. You can have Swiss quote, you can have whatever. That would be a good question, how to solve these kind of issues.
Yeah. Here, what's also important to see with this portfolios, it's only rebalanced monthly, so it's not very an active strategy, right? And at the same time, we can work with smart order routing solutions, etc. If a customer wants that, for example.
Okay, thank you very much, Stefan. Thank you for the contribution.